30 hours straight is how long that it can code on its own. What are the technical feats needed to be able to go that long, where humans can, well, definitely not survive that unless there's a whole load of caffeine involved?
Good morning. I think one of the main advancements we made was around memory and what we call context management. So if you think about how a human works for longer periods of time, you're writing things down, you're making sure you can always pick up where you left off if you're coming back the next day. So with Claude Sonnet 4.5, we did a lot of work on that memory management. So the model, if you think about it, sort of writes down what it's doing, keeps track of its state, and then if it needs to sort of backtrack, it's able to then keep going. And that's how it's able to stay coherent for a much longer period of time than any other of our models.
How much have you managed to lower, therefore, those ideas of inaccuracies, or more broadly, that they're making things up? Hallucination has always been the key issue here and been something that's limited agentic AI adoption.
Yeah, this is the model that we have that is also, besides being our most powerful, is also our safest and most coherent. So it has the lowest hallucination rate and is the least susceptible to things like jailbreaks. And I think that matters a lot. I think I tell my product team all the time, it's no use going for 20, 30 hours if you're making mistakes along the way. And so having it be both accurate, producing good code, that's the prerequisite. And then you can focus on scaling up on the time horizon.
Mike, could we talk a bit about the audience for Claude Sonnet 4.5? The real emphasis from Anthropic from the early days was enterprise customer as opposed to a sort of direct-to-consumer. But this field of tools for the developer is expanding. It's probably more competitive. Who are you hoping uses this?
It's really, we've taken a business focus, but that also manifests kind of in the prosumer space. And so we have a lot of what we call power users who might be developers or might just be early adopters who want to bring AI to their work. So one of the things that Sonnet 4.5 can do, along with writing code, is also creating really professional looking Word and PowerPoint and Excel documents. It actually uses the same coding capabilities under the hood, but not to write code, but instead to produce documents. And that sort of capability means that we're starting to see adoption in the enterprise as well.
Mike, you and I have discussed this in the past. We know Mike Krieger as Mike Krieger, CTO Instagram. And what I'm seeing right now in the field of your peers is the reports on OpenAI and what Meta is doing in social media and video. Is that a direction you want the product team to take Claude in?
We're focused much more on the productivity use case. And so when I think about our roadmap, it's very much how do we take work off people's hands, or how do we accelerate folks and make them, the work the best that it can be? How do we automate your work in the browser? So much more on that productivity side of things. And I don't think you'll see us play very much in that entertainment space.
Mike, that productivity perspective, it's come under some concerns recently. Think about the MIT report. Everyone's suddenly talking about this. Only, 95% of the tests were basically failing out there in the wild. How are you making sure that enterprises adopt your products, but actually see the productivity gains from them?
I think this is really important, where if AI gets brought into the workplace without the right either tools around it or enablement, what you end up with is this disillusionment a couple of months later around, well, folks aren't adopting it, or, yeah, it helped me a little bit, but not enough. And so we have a lot of emphasis on, let's make sure the work is actually good. You might hear this word online like slop, where AI is creating work that actually is not very good. And I think of us, we're trying to produce the anti-slop, work that actually, maybe gets you 80% of the way there, but it's 80% that then lets you complete the work in a way that you're proud of, rather than, oops, it did something, but now I feel like I have to start over because it didn't really help. So I think that's the really key piece for enterprise adoption.
And therefore, does it remove the need for so many people? Or ultimately, there's still this argument, this can augment, but will it start to replace, Mike?
We think a lot about what the comparative advantages are of people, as relates to AI. There's a lot of still relationship building and trust, critical analysis, and strategy that really comes on the human side of things. And so we really try to design tools that, as much as possible, play up those parts of that human-AI interaction, knowing that there will be labor shifts that are almost inevitable. But if we can design our products along the way to maximize both people's understanding of AI, but also their use in a complementary way.
Mike, OpenAI is holding Dev Day next Monday. It's probably on your calendar for peripheral awareness. But I'm very conscious that you're kind of speaking to us 24 hours after the news of Claude Sonnet 4.5 came out. Have you any data on the sort of reaction to it, early demand, and where that's coming from?
It's been really interesting how quick people are to adopt a new model. So by, I think, about 1 p.m. yesterday, we already had more usage of Claude Sonnet 4.5 than all of our other models combined, which really speaks to the eagerness of a lot of these startups that are using or building on top of our models, as well as early adopters. On day one, you saw GitHub and Cursor and Windsurf and many of these products that build on top of our models want to incorporate Claude Sonnet 4.5. And so we had this really early crossover moment as well.
That is interesting data. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this model is running on Project Rainier, right? Is that sort of operationally and infrastructure-wise where the training and now inference of it is being done?
So we do our both training and inference across, we have partnerships with Google and Amazon, but we have a significant part of this model being served now from Amazon as well, and we're seeing a lot of growth on AWS Bedrock as well.
Just going to that infrastructure layer, you're obviously the product visionary here, but you need to have the energy, the compute to bring your products to life. Many worrying that we're in some sort of bubble cycle around AI. How do you think about that as you drive this business forward, Mike?
I think there's this combined need to both scale up for the training side, but also on inference. And as we've scaled, especially with our business arrangements and the companies building on top of Sonnet, I think we now have sort of forward-looking perspective on what our inference needs will be, and I think that'll let us go out and also secure the kinds of compute deals that we need to both fuel the training, but also have that sort of revenue-generating inference side as well.
And we get so focused on the compute needs of the United States, but we've been talking a lot about that in Europe, how it's scaling in the UK. From your adoption, how are you seeing things different globally, Mike, of those that are actually deploying what's happened with Sonnet 4.5 and the latest models?
We see this a lot in terms of our global footprint. There's something we started expanding earlier this year. And so for our rollout of Trainium 2, which is the chip that Amazon has built for AWS that we use pretty extensively for our Claude models, a lot of that deployment is actually international. And when I go to Europe, for example, I hear a lot of questions about data locality and making sure that inference is happening in local data centers. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to have that international footprint of these chips. And so you're seeing the same in APAC.
Mike, we are going to ask you a question about talent wars, but I'm just going to make an appeal to you to just be honest with me on this, how big a factor it is or isn't for you right now on the product team at Anthropic. In particular, I'm looking at the pace at which OpenAI is putting stuff out, Meta is putting stuff out. Just through your experience, what's the talent situation right now?
I'm seeing much more of that talent sort of back and forth happen within the research side in general, a little bit less on the product, although I think there's some key hires where that's been the case. One thing that's been a positive sort of maybe surprise or just outcome of how mission-oriented a lot of the Anthropic team really has been, it's affected us very minimally in terms of that back and forth that you're seeing maybe among some of the other frontier labs, which is very encouraging. Of course, we have to continue to make sure we build a great culture and maintain that mission alignment. But so far, it's been minimally affecting us.
If we take Sonnet 4.5 as the case study, what were the types of roles that you needed to bring in to roll out the release?
I think people think of research and model science as being fairly cut and dry. I actually think that there's a lot of art and taste to it as well. You're making a lot of decisions from a research engineering perspective around what are the tasks the model needs to improve on, how will it improve on that, how will we know that it's improving on that. And so a lot of that reinforcement learning post-training piece is the key shape of what we really thought about in Sonnet 4.5.